So my first problem is 101, and the original problem is 64 n to the third, and then that's in parentheses, and on the outside is 2 over 3. Looks like that. So the first thing we're going to do is put it in a square root symbol and put the index as 3 because it's to the 2/3 power. So then you have index of 3, square root sign, 64 n to the 6th. You then break 64 up, which goes to 8 and 8, and both of the 8s split up into 4 and 2. Since your index is 3, you find groups of 3, so we have 2 groups of 2, which in the end equals 2 times 2, and you have 2 n's. You have an n to the 6th, so your index of 3 means you have 2 n's. So when you put that all together, you have 4n in parentheses with a 2 on the outside, and then you just distribute, which equals 16n, which looks like this. My next problem is 226. It's m to the half power times n to the 2/3 power over n to the third times m to the 2/3 power, all raised to the second. So the first step is to simplify. So the 1/2 on the top and 2/3 on the bottom for m, simplify to 1/6. So that leaves you with just a 1 on top, and n to the 7 over 3 times m to the 1/6 on bottom. That is all raised to the second power. Then you just simplify more, which then leaves you to the denominator of 1, and that is all over index of 3 square root to n to the 14th times index of 3 square root m. Then you have n to the 4th times index of 3 radical m times n to the 2nd. In the end, that is your answer, 1 over n to the 4th times index of 3 radical m n to the 2nd. Looks like this. My next problem is 352. The original problem is 3 minus 3 index of 2 radical 2p to the third over 5 radical 19p to the third. You then multiply both of them by radical 19 because that is the denominator, so then that eventually will cancel out, and you then combine like terms. So then you have 3 to the radical 19p minus 3p times p radical 38 over 95p squared. That then equals 3 radical 19p minus 3p squared radical 38 over 95p squared. That work is shown right here on the bottom. My next problem is number 485. The original problem is -5, index of 5, radical -20 n to the 6th times -5, index of 5, radical -8 n3 to the third. You then combine like terms, so you basically multiply the 5 and the 5, so that equals 25n. Then you put both the n, the -20n, and the -8n to the third in the radical. So that leaves you with 25n, index of 5, radical 160 n to the 4th. You then split 160 up to 8 and 20. 8 goes to 4 and 2. And then you split 20 up to 4 and 5, and the 4 goes to 2 and 2. Then you have a group of 5 because that's the index of 2. So you bring a 2 out. So 25 times 2 is 50n, and then you have index 5, radical 5n to the 4th, which looks like that. And that's it.